Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in for today's webinar presentation looking at RoomKeyPMS mobile upselling. This is a new feature that we're really happy to show off for all of our clients. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's presentation, we'll start with some introductions, and then we'll dive right into our topic for today and define what is mobile upselling. We'll talk about what the guest sees during the upselling process and what do users see in RoomKey when an upgrade is made. Then we'll talk about how to set up mobile upselling in your RoomKeyPMS database, and we'll also talk about when you can start using this feature. We'll wrap up today's presentation with a bit of a summary and a Q&A. So jumping right into our introductions for today, my name is Tasha LeClaire. I'm a trainer and implementation specialist with RoomKey since 2015. Joining me today, I do have our Director of Customer Experience, Mr. William Tam. He's been with RoomKey since 2014. Now, I'll be leading today's presentation, and William will be overseeing the chat and Q&A section. So everyone is muted in today's presentation, but if you do have questions, go ahead and click on the Q&A button in the Zoom meeting, and you'll be able to ask any questions there, and William will be able to answer those as well. Any questions that are not answered throughout the presentation, we will be able to address those in the Q&A section at the end. A couple more things about today's webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and a copy of the recording will be made available later this week. Anyone who has registered for today's presentation will receive a notification when that webinar is available on our public support website. Those of you that are joining in for today's live presentation will receive a webinar survey at the end of our presentation. It's a quick survey, about 5 questions on there. And we do appreciate any feedback that you're able to offer us. And if you'd like to suggest any topics for future webinars, you can do so on that survey as well. Speaking of future webinars, I'm happy to announce that our next webinar for December will be covering the City Ledger operations in RoomKey. Great. So with our introductions out of the way, let's dive right into our topic for today and define what is mobile upselling. For RoomKeyPMS, we have developed this new feature, and it is actually an enhancement to our existing mobile check-in tool. It allows you to automatically prompt the guests during their mobile check-in process prior to their arrival, prompt them to upgrade to a higher room category for a set fee. Now, you will need to have mobile check-in in order to use mobile upselling, the tool that we'll be looking at today. So I'm just going to launch a poll on screen. For those of you attending today's live presentation, I'm just going to ask if you have or if you use mobile check-in at your hotel. Great, so I'll share those results on screen. It looks like we have a variety of answers there. We have a couple of people that do already have mobile check-in. Some people don't have it yet. We will talk about how you can get mobile check-in and how you can start using the mobile upselling as well. I will include that in today's presentation. And then some people are not sure if they have it. That's okay. I'll show you how you can tell if you have it or not. And of course, if you don't have mobile check-in yet, we'll make sure to let you know how you can get that and contact us and get set up with mobile check-in. Great. So like I said, you will need to have mobile check-in in order to use mobile upselling. So a couple other features of this new enhancement for mobile check-in is that your upgrade availability is going to be based on your real-time inventory in RoomKey. So that means you don't have to manage any separate inventory to offer these upgrades. It's automatically looking at your real-time inventory in your database. You can customize a call to action and the visual prompts that the guest sees when they go through and are prompted to upgrade during that check-in process. And you can also preset these fees. So you don't have to constantly manage those fees or the inventory. It's preset or automatic for you. So let's take a look at what the guest actually sees during this check-in or mobile check-in or upselling process. So for those of you that are familiar with our mobile check-in product, it looks similar to this, where a guest would be looking at it on their mobile device, maybe a smartphone or tablet device. At the top of the screen, it does come with the mobile theme, the logo for the hotel, and the hotel name at the top. And then right away, it's going to identify any room upgrades available for the guest stay. So you have a custom image here that's going to take up most of the visual space there that you can customize and really use to kind of leverage and prompt the guest to upgrade. You've got your call to action that's going to show up as well, and you can include a room description and the preset fee. Of course, that visual aspect encourages the guest to go ahead and upgrade their room during this mobile check-in process. But of course, they could continue without an upgrade. That option is always available to them. They can proceed without upgrading. Now, to see this in action, what this looks like in the actual process of mobile check-in, I do have a short video here that will show us the mobile check-in process from beginning to end with the prompt to upgrade. So what the guest actually sees when they do go ahead and upgrade their room. So they'll start the check-in process by clicking on check-in. They'll have that opportunity to review their check-in details. When they click next, this is where the upgrade appears. So it's going to list all of the upgrades that are available, and you can actually show multiple pictures here where the guest can click on the image and scroll through different images of the potential upgrade that you can offer them. Below that, they can see a description, and if the description is longer, they can click on that and actually view the full description for that upgraded room type. If there's more than one upgrade available for them, they can scroll through and view other upgrades available at that time. And of course, if they don't want to, they can always continue without the upgrade. But if they do want to upgrade, they'll click on Upgrade Your Room, and they'll be able to see a comparison of their current rate and their new rate with the upgrade. They can confirm those changes, and then it's going to go through and allow them to review those reservation details with the upgraded room type and the upgrade charge. The guest then proceeds with the check-in process. They would view the terms and conditions for your hotel and sign their acknowledgement and their acceptance of those charges and click next. They'll be able to add in their arrival details, so their arrival time and any additional comments that they want to include for their stay while they complete the mobile check-in process. So that's what the guest would see. It's very streamlined. It fits in really nice with that mobile check-in experience. Now, once a guest does complete the mobile check-in, of course, they would then arrive at the hotel. So let's see what the user or your staff members using RoomKey would see whenever an upgrade is made. So when a guest goes through and does complete that mobile check-in, the first thing that any users in RoomKey would see is a notification appear from the top of their screen, letting them know that they have unread messages. They can click on this message notification, and this will bring them to the message center in RoomKey, where they will have a tasks tab where they can view any of those messages. Here, because of mobile check-in, those of you that are already familiar with mobile check-in may be familiar with the notification that appears letting the front desk team know that the guest has completed a mobile check-in or have completed their mobile check-in online. Now you will also have a second message that will tell you about the upgrade. So not only did the guest complete the mobile check-in, but they also upgraded during that mobile check-in process. This second message is going to tell you what the guest originally booked, so the room type before, and what they upgraded to. And it's also going to include the price for that upgrade right on that message itself. Now I'm just going to open up RoomKey and you'll be able to see what this also looks like inside a database here. Great. So on screen, I have RoomKey open, and I'm taking a look here at the arrivals screen. I've got two guests that are arriving, and this first guest, Tina Chen, she has completed her mobile check-in. I can see the mobile check-in icon appearing on as part of the line item on her reservation here. So when you double-click on this mobile check-in icon, it's going to bring up their mobile check-in form. And this is where we can see the guest has signed as part of the mobile check-in process. And we can also see that they have agreed to the upgrade charges. So when a guest upgrades, that upgrade charge will also appear here on their mobile check-in form. And just like all of our mobile check-in forms, you have the option to either download and save a copy of this in a local file while the guest is in-house, or of course you can print the document and save that in a file folder at the front desk as well. This is the new iteration of that registration card that the guest typically would have had if you're not using mobile check-in. So the upgrade charge, of course, appears while the guest, as part of the guest check-in form automatically. So there's nothing that the front desk team needs to add. The front desk team, in fact, can go forward and just check in the guest as long as there is a room, a upgraded room available. So we do have a room available for this guest, and they can go through and check them in as normal. Great. Once the guest is in-house, you will see on the guest folio where the room charges post. When a guest upgrades, you will now see an additional upgrade charge as well. Okay, let me just make sure we're looking at today's date. So the guest will be charged their regular room charge, and then they have that upgrade charge posted as a second line item. And the way that this upgrade charge is being posted is that it's actually pre-generated as a guest service. So if we were to look at this guest reservation, let me just double click. Just going to open up on screen. And here in the services tab, I would be able to see that upgrade room charge is automatically applied for the guest stay. So the guest is staying 2 nights at an upgrade fee of $25. Wonderful. So just going back to our presentation here, that's what the user or the staff member would see and how they would be notified if a guest has upgraded. Now we can take a look at how we can set this up in your database. First of all, anyone who currently has mobile check-in, you will have mobile upselling available to use right away. You will need to give a permission setting, so it is restricted. You'll need to give permission 5060. It is an upselling permission. Once you have that permission granted, you can then access the upselling module, which we'll see in just a moment. And the process to set up the upselling module in RoomKey is 3 steps. So we'll go through 3 steps in order to set this tool up. First, we will assign room type levels. You'll be able to assign different levels to your room types. That allows us to create a hierarchy with lower level or least expensive rooms assigned a lower level, and more expensive rooms would be assigned a higher level. So that allows us to go to step 2, where we can then set up our room upgrades. The process of upgrading will allow us to prompt a guest to go from a lower level room or least expensive room to a higher level room at an expense there. The last step will be to enable mobile upselling. So we can enable that program once we've created all of our room type upgrade options. So going back to my test database here, let's take a look at this process in RoomKey. So in system configuration, you will see upselling is a new module that appears right below the mobile module. If you see upselling, but it is grayed out or you're not able to click on it, you will need to give that permission setting to your clerk ID. So you'll need to enable that permission for your user. If you see mobile, but you do not see upselling, when you click on mobile, if it comes up with an advertisement that encourages you or tells you how to enable mobile, that means that it is not yet granted to your property. So that will give you an indication if you are using mobile check-in and check-out at your hotel. So if you're not sure, you can click on that option here in system configuration, and that will let you know if you have mobile check-in or not. But once, of course, if you have mobile check-in and you've given yourself the permission setting for upselling, go ahead and click on that. And this is a brand new module that will pop up on screen. Now, some of this mobile upselling has already been enabled for this database, but the 3 steps that we will be following are represented by the 3 tabs that appear on top. So the first step where we assign levels to the different room types is the base room type configuration. This tab is open for us already, and I can see that a couple of my room types have already been assigned to their respective levels listed here. Now, this property does have some room types that are not yet configured. We'll use this one as an example. This is a standard king room, and it would be assigned a level between the standard queen and the deluxe queen. So it'll be assigned level 2. In order to assign these levels, I'm going to click on the modify button. And in the lower part of this left-hand corner, I can now assign a level. So for this room type, I'm going to assign level 2. The other thing you can do whenever you are assigning levels is you can indicate how many upgrades you want to show to the guest during that mobile check-in experience. So if you recall, when we saw what the guest sees, there were 2 options that were available there. So it allowed the guest to scroll through 2 options before they were prompted to continue without an upgrade. We do recommend that you leave this setting at 2 by default. If you show 5 or 10 upgrade options, it can become troublesome for the guest to scroll through that many options. If they are not interested in upgrading, it may cause a bit of a negative feeling on their side as they're going through the check-in process. They may actually stop the check-in process altogether if they find it time-consuming to scroll through that many displayed upgrades. So in that case, that's why we do recommend about 2 options here. You can always change this setting at a later time as well. So I'm going to keep this setting as 2, and I'm going to click Save. Now I do have another room type here. This is a parlor room type. If you have any unique rooms that you do not want to offer any upgrades to or upgrades from, in this case, this is a type of room that does not have a guest bed. It is simply a parlor space. I don't want to offer any upgrades. I'm going to leave it as not configured. So when you're setting up this area, it is fine to leave some rooms as not configured if you don't want them to participate in the upgrade options. Let me just scroll back up here. A couple of other things that you'll notice when you're setting up your room type levels. Any room types that you assign to level 1, so your least expensive rooms, you'll notice that you don't need to enter any image information. So off to the right-hand side, there'll be a notification telling you that there are no images required for this lowest level room type. Any room types that you assign level 2 or higher, you will have the option to include images. And in this case, we have images imported from the eRes booking engine. These images are already set up on our property module because this database does use eRes. And it has those images appearing on the hotel website for the benefit of guests booking through the hotel website. You can always customize these. You can edit or delete these images if you don't want to use the same ones from your booking engine. You can also add additional images. When you do that, you click on Add Image, and this is going to open up a file on your computer, and you can select the image, click Open, and then that will add that image to this list of available images for that room type. Great. The other thing that you will notice is that it will automatically import any descriptions of the image for you. And of course, if you want to change that description, you can use the edit button as well. Perfect. So not only will you assign a level, you will also include any images if required for those levels 2 and higher. So now we've completed the first step, the base room type configuration. We can move on to the second step and we can create our room type upgrades. Now, before I click on this tab, I'm going to let you know that I want to create an upgrade between the SK, the standard king room type, to the DK, the deluxe king room type. So I'm going to go to the room type upgrades tab. And this is where I can see a list of all of the existing room type upgrades. So if you're doing this for the very first time, this list will be blank. But if you have some upgrades already created, you'll notice that the first column will show the base room type, so the room type that the guest would be starting from or booked as part of their booking process. And then you'll have a designated upgrade room type, so what the guest will be prompted to upgrade to. You can also define a title. This is the call to action that you can customize and really use to enhance or entice the guests to choose to proceed with the upgrade. And then you have the set fee that you can set up. You can also activate or deactivate these upgrade options at any time. At this point, all of these upgrades are currently active, so they have that active checkbox there. So let's go ahead and create a new room type upgrade from the SK to the DK room type. I'll click the Add button, and that allows me to now use the fields in the lower half of this window. I can select the base room type, which is going to be SK, and you'll notice that that has assigned level 2. Now, upgrades can only be made from a lower level to a higher level. So when I go to select my upgrade room type, I do not have the option to go to a lower level. So I wouldn't be able to select level 1 or level 2. In this case, I must select level 3 or higher. And that's because the guest would never be prompted to downgrade because this is an upgrade program, of course. So I would be able to go ahead and select the DK room type, which is a higher level, level 4. And that now snaps into place as well. So I can see I'm going from level 2 to level 4 with this upgrade offer. Now, once you select your upgrade room type, you'll notice here that the upgrade description automatically pulls through the room description for that room type. Whatever description is set up in the property module for this room type will automatically populate here. If you don't want to use that existing room description, or if you wanted to change it in any way, you can uncheck Use Existing, and then you can change that description or add any additional information to it if you'd like. Otherwise, the easiest way, of course, is just to use that existing description, and I'll keep that setting there. Now, what you will want to do is here in the upgrade title, this is where you can offer a call to action. Now, in this database, the standard King or SK room type has an interior or parking lot view, whereas the DK or Deluxe King is going to have a lake view. And I can see that as part of the description here, where the guest would have a king size bed and a view of the lake. So by upgrading from the SK to the DK, I can tell the guest that they're going to be upgrading their view. That is a great title. It's very short, and it's a great prompt to tell the guest to do so there. So I can add that prompt into the upgrade title to tell them to upgrade their view by upgrading to this higher room category, the DK. I can also include the upgrade price located in the lower left-hand corner here. That upgrade price is $25 to upgrade their view. Now I can also click Save. Now you can activate this right away by clicking on the active checkbox, and then click Save as well. Great. Now, the other thing that RoomKey is going to prompt you to do is click on an image so that it is automatically added as the default image that the guest would see as soon as they're prompted to upgrade. Now, because the point of upgrading for this room type would be to upgrade their view, I'm going to select the view that the guest would be able to upgrade to. Again, that kind of coincides with the prompt that I've indicated here. So the guest would want to see that view as part of that upgrade. If you wanted to change that at any time, here with the upgrade selected, you can click on the select default image, and you can choose a different image from the offers available. Again, these were the images that were imported or set up on the base room type configuration here. So at any time, you do have the ability to modify these upgrades. If I don't want to offer a certain offering, if I don't want to offer this other upgrade option here, I can click Modify, and I can remove that active checkbox. That saves that work that I've already done to create that upgrade option, but it no longer offers that upgrade for a time. You'll notice here that the checkbox is no longer appearing checked in this list. So you can activate and deactivate upgrade options or upgrade offers at any time. Okay. The other thing that you can do, once you've created quite a few upgrades here, you can use the filter option at the top to filter by room type. So if I want to see all the upgrade options that I have available for the SQQ room type, I can filter by SQQ, and I can see that I have 2 offers available. So the guests can either upgrade their view, or they can upgrade to a villa that comes with a private kitchen. So several ways that you can actually manage your upgrade options and the different offers that you want to offer out to your guests through this room upgrades tab, this second step. Once you've completed your list of upgrades, or you've activated a couple of upgrades here, the last step is to activate mobile check-in. activate the mobile upselling. So we'll go on to our third tab here to click on the mobile check-in configuration. And in order to activate this, we will select the Enable Mobile Upsell checkbox here. We're going to click Modify, place a check mark into that checkbox. And then you'll notice that you do have the option to specify any exclusions. So if you're already familiar with mobile check-in and checkout, you may be familiar with our exclusion rules or exclusion settings that we have available for each of those options. We have exclusions available for mobile upsell as well. And one thing that we would just like to let you know is regarding any standard exclusions. So any guests that are part of a group block or wholesaler block will not be offered upgrades. That comes standard with RoomKey because those types of guests have been booked into a specific block of rooms. We don't want to make any changes or automate any changes in that case because those are highly controlled blocks. But you can also go further steps if there's any additional types of guests that you don't want to offer upgrades to. You can exclude guests by their client type. So whatever client type they've booked, you can exclude them by market segment, or you can exclude by rate type. So for example, here in my list of rate types, I have a friends and family rate. And for those types of guests, I don't want to offer any upgrade options because they're already getting quite a discount on their stay anyway. So I'm going to remove the option to upgrade for friends and family rate. You can exclude as many or as few types of guests as you prefer. Once you have set up your exclusions and of course made sure that the checkbox appears here in Enable Mobile Upsell, you can then select the Save button. And that's all that is required in order to enable this program for your database. You can always test this out as well. When you close the upsell, if you have any arrivals, you can actually see what their mobile check-in experience would look like. Here's a little tip. If you're already familiar with this, this might be a bit of recap. But you can right-click on an arrival guest. And in the mobile check-in option, you can select Create Mobile Check-in Link. This will give you a link that you can click on. You can copy this link and put it into a browser, and that will allow you to see what the guest would see when they go through the mobile check-in process. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that and head back to our presentation. Oh, sorry, before I head back to our presentation, one more thing that I wanted to show you. The messages that appear automatically for the front desk staff when a guest does complete their mobile check-in, if you would like to control who sees those messages, this is a little bit of recap for those of you that do have mobile check-in, but you can actually control that from the clerks module. So in system configuration, you can go to the Clerks module. And when that opens up, you're going to click on the Departments tab. Here in the Department section, in the drop-down menu, you will have a department that is called Mobile Notifications. Any staff members that are listed in this Mobile Notifications department are ones that will receive notifications when a guest completes their mobile check-in. They will also receive a notification if they upgrade during that mobile check-in process. So it's the same mobile notifications group for both upselling notifications and the mobile check-in and checkout notifications. Of course, if you wanted to add or remove any notification or any users from this group, you can use the arrows in the middle to add or remove users. So if the housekeeping supervisor doesn't need to receive that notification, you can select them and use the black arrow to remove them from that group so that they no longer receive those notifications when they're logged into RoomKey. Okay, so we can head back to our presentation for today. We did see that you can set up that configuration right away and go through those 3 steps in order to set up mobile notification or mobile upselling for your property. Now, the next thing that we'll look at is when you can start using this feature. For all RoomKey users, or for all RoomKeyPMS hotels that currently have mobile check-in, you can get started right away. Like I said, you'll see that available from your drop-down menu. Now, you will need to make sure you update your RoomKeyPMS software to the latest version. We had a version release this week, so you'll want to make sure that you're updating to the latest version of RoomKey in order to access the features with upselling. Now, if you don't have mobile check-in at your property, you can contact us directly. Our inside sales manager, Margot, her contact information is displayed on screen, and I will include that in my follow-up email as well following today's presentation. So if you'd like to get started with mobile check-in, checkout, and mobile upselling that we just took a look at today, you can contact inside sales. Margot would be able to help you get started with those programs. So wrapping up our presentation for today, mobile upselling offers you a streamlined approach to increase your room revenue and simplify that upgrade process for your guests and your staff. I'm going to open up the floor now to see if we have any outstanding questions. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up our webinar a little bit early today. Thank you so much for joining in. If you do have any questions, we do have some contact information that will be sent out. And of course, don't forget to fill out the webinar survey after today's presentation. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.